I'm Monica McWilliams. I'm the Professor of Women's Studies and I'm full-time researcher here in the Transitional Justice Institute. Most of my research has been on violence against women, in particular in intimate partner relationships and the impact of political conflict on women's lives. The first big study I did in that was back in 1992. We published the outcome of a big research study called Bringing It Out in the Open. And what it looked at was the lives of women who were suffering abuse in the middle of Northern Ireland's conflict and couldn't access support from the usual sources such as the police and other healthcare providers. And now what I do is I look at the same topic in other conflict situations and also what's happening post-conflict. So does things change whenever the conflict is stepped down? Is the violence changed? Does the context change? Are people able to provide support and help in the way that they weren't? Do attitudes change? Because people talk about a transformed society. So that's the part of transitional justice that I'm particularly interested in. But I also do work on peace negotiations and mediation. I was involved in the peace agreement in Northern Ireland, the Good Friday Belfast Agreement. I'm a signatory to that agreement, and I was involved in the Northern Ireland Women's Coalition, which was a political party that stood for election and got elected to the peace talks. And then I was a member of the Legislative Assembly for 5 years and Chief Commissioner of Human Rights for 6 years. So it's all of that experience of being a practitioner as well as an academic that I bring to my teaching now and to the research here in the Transitional Justice Institute. Well, I was delighted to come back to the university after having been out for 12 years to a place like the Transitional Justice Institute, because I found here that I had colleagues who were working in the same area as I was, not just in the generic area of transitional justice, but specifically on the gender area of this work. And it's been a delight to work with my colleagues because this collaborative project idea where we all share our information, we talk about what we're doing, we help each other, support each other. That's my idea of wanting to come to work in a place like this. And then we have great PhD students and it's great to be able to supervise these very interesting projects that are coming forward now. So from both the teaching end, because I teach on gender and justice and crime, and from the research side, I think there's a great blend here, particularly in terms of all of my colleagues working for publications, working on projects, but most importantly wanting it to have an impact, wanting it to create real change, not just in our own community in Northern Ireland, but in the other conflict zones that we're now all working in.